Well, hello everyone. I'm super excited to have my favorite people on this Zoom. We have the founders of Fuller Life, Carbon 60, Martha and Sam. Welcome in. I'm so excited to do this today. And I just love both of you and have enjoyed Carbon 60 forever now, it seems like. And so now, being back on Facebook, and I want people to know how special this is, and want everyone to know this is like so amazing for so many different people. So, starting out, I'd like to ask Sam. So, can you tell us a little bit what Carbon 60 is and maybe the science or history behind it?
You got it. It's good to see you, Angie. I know that you've shared Carbon 60 with a lot of people, and people are having a great response in their health with this. So it's really nice to see you, and especially at this time of year when people are looking for greater immunity, greater strength in their health, and that has a little bit to do with the history. So originally, Carbon 60 was envisioned by a man named Buckminster Fuller. And essentially, it's funny, he couldn't see very well or hear very well. So his world was very internal. And he imagined all these sort of chemical structures and things. So he had this idea of a carbon 60 molecule, which looks like a soccer ball. And he says this has to exist. And at some point, they'll use it in medicine, they'll use it in engineering, and so forth and so on. So a few years after he died, three scientists discovered carbon 60. They said, wow, here it is. And then that guy, Buckminster Fuller, who people used to call lovingly Bucky, because Buckminster's a lot, says, well, we're going to call it a Buckminster Fullerene. So this new class of carbon molecules was called Buckminster Fullerenes or Buckyballs. So a lot of people know about Buckyballs in other sense, because like carbon nanotubes and whatever. But around 2006, some people said, well, we've got to test to see if we could use this in health, if it's possible to use in a medical application. And so they did this thing called the Body Rat Study, which is BAATI, rat study. And essentially, it was a toxicology test. They said, we've got to test this to make sure we can test it on humans. We'll test it on rats first. And they gave the rats this over a certain period of time. You'll see the study if you want to look it up. And basically, the rats, they didn't die, right? They thought we're going to see if this is toxic to them. They didn't die. And when they did, they didn't have tumors or pneumonia, which is very common in this kind of Wistar rat that's there. So everyone got really excited that not only did they not die, but they lived twice as long, almost twice as long, about 90% longer than the other rats in the study. So that got people excited to say, well, maybe this is good for longevity. And so that's an often cited study, but there are a lot of other studies about C60, number one, being safe, and number two, having a benefit around antioxidation, right? So you have all these free radicals running around in your system, which are unpaired electrons. Okay, they can cause damage. That they're the root of all sorts of diseases. Okay, the flu, if you get a cold, it's a variation of the flu. If you have a surgery, your body goes into this mode where it has a lot of inflammation, and antioxidants can neutralize free radicals. So that's the thing that it's doing. You have like these little tiny soccer balls that measure zero point
Mhm.
0.7 nanometers that travel throughout your body like a little vacuum, and they suck up the free radicals into this carbon structure, and then they're expelled out of your body within 24 hours. So that's sort of the basic science about it. People got really excited and started to test by putting it in olive oil, which is this black sort of gross stuff you can get on your hands and your clothes, and the olive oil goes bad and goes rancid. And so we put it onto a patented strip that's like a breath mint strip. And it looks like, yep, there you go. You've got it right there in that package. And that package keeps things from getting dried out or too humid. It's a perfect little freshness pouch. So that's what we did. We made it a little easier to take, and it's fully solubilized. So where you would normally see other products, where it has clumping in the mixture, ours does not.
Yeah, I was actually excited that you brought that up because I remember meeting Martha and was like, oh my gosh, I thought carbon 60 was in oil. And she was like, oh no, not our brand. I was like, so that being said, you just said it doesn't clot in the strips, so they're bioavailable, right? So, and 100% goes into the cells, which I found fascinating. And wasn't it, and is it 1985 when carbon 60 came about?
It was right around that time that they discovered
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So two
Yeah. So,
things. One is naturally occurring, but in small quantities. And
mhm.
in 1985, they said, wow, we found it, right? And then later they figured out how to make it. And so we've got this 99.99% pure carbon 60.
Wow. And it's 750,000 antioxidants in one strip.
Well, that's
And
an ORAC value. So that number is sort of there are different variations of what that means, sort of like, people's understanding of it. But essentially, it's a number assigned to the antioxidant capacity. So this is called an ORAC score, and it's
okay.
750,000. And it just means that what is it capable of doing from ravaging oxidative species, which is ROS. And you can look at
Mhm.
that. Those
Mhm.
reactive oxygen species, sorry, is the name of that ROS factor. So ORAC is just a measure of the relative capacity of an antioxidant to do its job.
Okay, very good. So why would someone take it? Is it to help us with helping our immune system and so keep us healthy?
Well, we can't make any medical claims because this is not an
Mhm.
FDA approved supplement. I mean, vitamin C isn't either, right? So you can't make any claims about vitamin C. But what we know about vitamin C and carbon 60s, they're antioxidants. And if you want to understand what that could do for your health, look up antioxidants and health. We've got the
Mhm.
smallest and one of the most powerful antioxidants on the market, which is carbon 60, C60. And it's
Mhm.
so tiny that it can not only get into your cells, but it can get into the mitochondria of your cells, which is the energy powerhouse of your cell. It can also
Mhm.
cross the blood-brain barrier. So it can get into these places in your body that other antioxidants can't. But generally speaking, you want antioxidants as part of your diet. You can get it from blueberries, you can get it from eating
Mhm.
oranges. But if you want a concentrated source, often it's going to be as a supplement.
Okay, very good. And so what is the recommended dose? And is it safe for everyone? Can anybody take it?
So far as we know, all the studies say that it's safe. And if you're pregnant or if you're a child, you'd have to consult with your doctor. I would say that's always going to be important. I don't know anyone that's had an adverse effect of C60, and we've looked at a lot of research. There are a lot of papers. There are over 200 studies on C60. So if you want to get into the research and go deep, absolutely. But everything we know about it shows that it's safe. It doesn't have any contraindications with anything else you might be taking. And, obviously you want to whenever you're taking something into your body, observe what's happening in your body. So as far as it goes, it's safe. We know that you can take several of these a day. We have a 30 pack, which is really just a month's supply. Some people take more than one a day. I like to take two a day, and I'll take two before noon because I feel like it, brings me into a greater level of mental focus. And if I do that before sleep, then my mind will continue to go, and I'll even lucid dream. So if you really want lucid dreaming, give it a try. But
Mhm.
ultimately, you can take several a day. I would say probably don't take more than 10. I mean, that's just my personal experience. I don't
Mhm.
think that has a greater effect taking more like that. And this is a little bit of a slow variable, right? So there are
Mhm.
fast variables and there's slow variables. There's certain things you see a response right away. And what our
Mhm.
customers will tell us, and I'm sure you'll hear more of this when you talk to Martha, is that people don't necessarily notice when they take it. Not everybody is that attuned with their body, but you might
Mhm.
notice when you don't take it. So if you've been taking it for a week and then you stop taking it, and I'm sure you'll have your stories too. I notice in me, I feel like I breathe better and my
Mhm.
mental cognition is better. So if in the afternoon I don't feel that lull that I used to, like 3 or 4 o'clock,
Mhm.
and the brain's feeling overwhelmed, I actually feel like I have that staying power to really focus
Mhm.
on things that are important.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, I definitely have my own testimony. I remember started taking it. It helped me with rheumatoid flares and helped me with, like you said, brain fog. I was like, oh my gosh, I can think better. Helped me with energy, like you said. So I like to take two or three every day, early in the day too. It's kind of like my source of coffee, to get me going. And also, like I said, mental clarity and just feeling good. And you're right. You get so used to feeling good. And then when you don't have it, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling as good. I need to get some more. So Martha, what about have you noticed like anything you can share? I know a lot of my following you talk to all the time. Anything that they say, any feedback or testimonies to share about this?
Absolutely. I could probably talk for several days about the experiences that I've heard. I want to say a quick note just of how grateful we are to be associated with Angie. When I speak to your customers, and I just love them all, I always say Angie has a true healing heart.
Oh,
And
thank you.
consequently, she draws the kind of people to her that are really invested and interested in taking care of their own healing. And
Oh,
so it's a fascinating group of people. It's people who really want to take charge of their healing. So I would say the most commonly reported benefit that I hear from people who are taking particularly Fuller Life C60 is help with inflammation pain. And
mhm.
we know that inflammation is the source of so many of our ailments and of aging as well. And you can get what you need in terms of supplements to help with all those things. But C60, I think, is particularly useful in targeting inflammation pain. And that's how I came to it. One of our other founding partners sent me a bottle before we were in this field, and I had instant relief from inflammation pain. And
Mhm.
that is, his experience and my experience is what led us on this path. And we thought because we're students of Buckminster Fuller, we didn't want to do anything that didn't add value. So our chemist found a way to add value, which is the purely solubilized and dispersed C60 and the sublingual strip. And those two things allowed us to enter the market. And I think we've really been able to reach a lot of people that specifically that has helped with not only inflammation pain, you mentioned brain fog, resistance to disease. I just was talking with a lady yesterday who suddenly is taking care of her grandchildren. And she said, of course, they're coming home from daycare and preschool and school carrying every virus known to man. And she said, I used to get them all. And I have not had one of those school related viruses or flu or cold or anything since I've been taking the C60. She's excited. People talk about help with not only with focus, but with that upsurge of energy. I myself take one in the morning and then I take it mid-afternoon. When I've got a few years on you, I want a little nice burst of energy in the afternoon. So instead of getting the jittery coffee, I get that nice golden glow. And I've heard reports of that from many of the people who are taking it. So mostly people find out often what it's doing for them after they stop. So if they run out, they'll call and say, okay, I thought I could wait for a little while, but please send it right away. I noticed that my hands are hurting again, or
Mhm.
my back is starting to hurt again. So I think it works. With some people, it's very dramatic, and other people, it's a very subtle, gradual improvement. So I'm trying to think of some of the other really commonly. Oh, we've had several people report that their night vision has
Mm,
improved dramatically. And I find that with myself. I also had
yes.
an experience with, I had to have a surgery last year. I went through the recovery process in about a third the time that was expected. I, I
Awesome.
I think that I didn't couldn't take, they won't let you take any supplements before surgery. So the doctor said put it in your pocket and take it in the recovery room, and I did. And about a third of the time in, I was back doing everything. So that's a little bit of my experience, a little bit of the experience that I hear from other people. I have a lot of people call me with a specific situation. We'll
Mhm.
talk about it and they'll call later and say, yes, that this helps. So if there's anything else that I can throw in there, but otherwise I would just keep talking.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I love how you shared, with other people's stories and with yourself. I think that's all amazing. Like it's affecting everyone different, I think. So it's like wherever you're lacking, it's gonna kind of help you, push you up. Is this good for animals? Either one of you, if you want to answer to that.
I'll let you go ahead with that, Martha. The initial answer is yes, and then if you want to color that in, Martha.
Yeah, yeah. Um, uh, we've got a lot of people giving it to their dogs. Cats are a little bit more difficult to get to take
Yeah.
things in their food, but we do it. And the mint is usually quite attractive to cats. But once again, we want to be very cautious about considering the weight of the animal and the amount of the dosage. That single strip was created as a single day dose for an adult human being. So if you've got a 5 pound dog, you might want to put it into strips, or a cat. But big dogs, I have several customers who are giving it to their horses.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So that's
awesome.
what our future plans is, to address that market specifically.
Okay, awesome. And so would you recommend, either one of you can answer this, if say a child's taking it, would it be a one strip or half a strip?
This is something when I talk to people, I think this is a very subjective sort of subject, subjective subject. Um, you would look at it the same way you look at all supplements for children.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people's their hearts sort of lead them. We did not specifically design this product for children. So that was not our intention when we set the dosage. That was for adult humans. But I know some people are giving it to their children, and they do it with the same kind of mind that they treat any supplement that's designed and dosed for adults. So I think that's something where if you've got questions, you'd want to talk with your doctor. But if you're giving your child other supplements and you feel confident and that they're
Mhm.
getting the proper dosage, but
Mhm.
as I said, we did not design it specifically for children.
I think it's worth
Okay.
pointing out that typically, I mean, while I can take 2 or 3 a day, and I normally don't exceed that, by the way. I know some people that take more than that, and they're perfectly happy to do so. We really can think about this like the weight of a person, right? When this was first done, it was done for rats at their size, right? And actually, they gave the rats way more by percentage of weight than you would ever, because it was a toxicology study. So again, we're not seeing any toxic amount here, the C60, but we're not suggesting that you take just a ton of it, right? So really just think about like the weight of a person, and that might help
Mhm.
you dosing your dog, your cat, your smaller human friends like your children,
Mhm.
that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you, both of you. And I guess one last thing, I know we have the strips available. Sam, do you want to talk about the cream?
Yes,
A
thank
lot of people
you.
don't know about it.
We have a body cream, and this body cream is good enough to put on your face, which is known as like there's a barrier. Like, hey, is it a face cream? This can go anywhere on your body, and some people know this, some people don't. But anything you put on your skin goes through your body as if it's food. Right now,
Mhm.
there's certain things, and you see it with sunscreen, like zinc oxide. Those are metal particles that actually can't get into your body. They get washed off the top, and that's why they're considered a better sunscreen, because the other ones are like plastic, and then they do go through your liver and your kidneys, and they get processed by your internal organs, which is why we have I think some issues like the big C word we're not going to mention on this. But ultimately, you do want to be considerate of anything you put on your skin, because it is processed by your body. In this case, you do get
Mhm.
C60 in your body when you put it on your skin. We've not just focused on C60, but we have some other
Mhm.
really powerful antioxidants in that cream. So take a look at the label, take a look at the ingredients. There's a very long explanation of each ingredient. We're very thoughtful and intent with our intention of what we put in there. We don't put in fillers, we don't put in chemicals. We do what's necessary to make the cream stable, so it lasts. It's got a synergy effect, right? So you're looking at multiple antioxidants. So back to that question we talked about before, why antioxidants? Because they neutralize free radicals. But what you should
Mhm.
know is that antioxidants operate differently. They have different molecular shapes and structures and sizes. So it's a buffet. You want to have lots of different kinds of antioxidants. So when you put this on your skin, you'll notice that it's not greasy, it goes in pretty quickly, and it goes a long way. A little bit goes a long way.
Hmm.
It's a golden color because of something called sea buckthorn oil, and that's a natural organic ingredient. And you'll see a number of other organic. Everything we could make organic is organic on this product.
Very, very, very good. I love it. I love all of this, and it's helping so many people, including myself. And that would be my last question today. Is this something that you take forever, or is it short term, or is it up to the person?
Well, I'll say two things about that. One, we started in 2019 and we still have customers from 2019. In fact, a lot of them that continue with us. And if you think about it, what were you doing 6 years ago? Are you still doing that now? So the fact that we have that many people that are still with us means that they got over the hump of the credit card expiration. They got over the hump of, oh, do I want to keep this in my regimen? And so some people, especially because of the price, I mean, we're practically $1 a day, which is the lowest cost C60 in the market at the highest quality. And that's important to us because we know some people have fixed income and we want to make it possible for people to have great health. And we're not just here for a profit. We're a company, we have to make money, and we want to make sure it's possible for people to have this in their health regimen. So I think of something like this, like, why wouldn't you want to have it forever in your health? And it's a simple test, right? Is it working for you? If it's working for
Mhm.
you and you can afford it, then I don't see why you wouldn't want to keep this forever.
I agree. I mean, you feel better, you start to have more energy. And like she said, with inflammation and pain, I can relate to that. You just feel good. So why wouldn't you want to take it forever? I guess is what is my thing.
And
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 I actually notice a huge difference when I don't take it.
it's a big deal. And when I mentioned briefly before short variables and long variables, right? Like if you smoked one cigarette on the negative, right? If we go the negative end of the scale, if you smoked one cigarette today, you're probably not going to get cancer. You're probably not going to die. You're probably not going to get emphysema, all those things. So we'd probably say it's not good for you, but it's probably not going to kill you. But if you smoke for 50 years, you are
Mhm.
going to see a number of problems mounting and mounting and mounting and mounting. This is the opposite, right? So imagine you're
Mhm.
taking something great for your health. I mean, you wouldn't stop drinking water, you wouldn't stop breathing high quality air, those kind of things. So you've got to think for that salubrious, positive health perspective of the long variable. What could it do
Mhm.
for you in the long term?
Exactly. And you said when people take it, I forgot to ask this, when people take it, is it okay to take it with their medicine or you want to separate that?
Again, we don't have any contraindications, so it's
Okay.
okay to take. It's inert. It doesn't seem to
Mhm.
interact with anything else as far as the research and the science goes.
Okay, very good. I appreciate both of you so much. I'm so excited that we did this today. And if anybody's interested on getting Carbon 60, Fuller Life Carbon 60, you're going to want to go to foodgoddess50.com. And it's right under my products, Carbon 60. And you could sign up and get your $30 a month, one packet a month, or you could go ahead and get your 6 month supply, which I like to do. So you can have as many as you have on hand. So if everybody needs help, then they come to you and then they start getting their own. So I think it would be a good idea. Again, we cannot make any medical claims, but we wanted to definitely share about this because it is amazing and everybody needs to know about it. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you, Angie.